Hello! In this program I'm going to show you how to create this image. This is nowhere near as difficult as you may think. It's actually relatively easy. It only requires one light source. I'm using a Profoto B2 flash, but you can use a standard speed light if you have one available. Okay, so I'm going to take it from the very beginning and I'm going to show you how I actually just build up the set. So to start with, what I have, I've just placed this flash head just pointing upwards. So it's just pointing straight upwards, and this is powered by this pack. So we'll just turn the pack on like that. Gives a reassuring little bleep. Hang that on the stand, keep it out of the way. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is just build up this area so I can make up, in effect, a flash-powered light box. You'll see what I mean as we go on. So I've got a couple of stools here. I'll just put one of these on each side. Like this. Just make it somewhere near equal, doesn't have to be. Okay, so for the next part I'll need some glass. This is a piece of glass which normally lives as a shelf inside a cupboard, but you can use anything that you happen to have lying around. Just going to place that. Which way around shall we place it? That way around. So we have our light source underneath here, glass on the top, and then what I'm going to put on top of this glass is basically just a piece of gel. We've mentioned gels before in previous programs. This is Theatrical Lighting Gel. It's available from all sorts of different outlets. This particular one is made by a company called Roscoe, but there are plenty around. Lee filters, for instance, in the UK are very famous for making gels such as this. So on top of this, I'm going to place a piece of diffusion material. Now normally I would use the same type of diffusion material that is supplied by the people who make the gels. But you don't have to. For instance, this, I don't know whether you can make out the drawing that's on here, but this is old pieces of CAD drawing which has been printed out. So if you know anyone who has an engineering background or works for someone who has an engineering background, you'll find there's a large quantity of this stuff, usually going for scrap. And all you need to do is chop a little piece off, which I've got here, and it makes a perfect diffusion material. There's that on there too. So next we need the holes that made up the base, and that is basically just a sheet of aluminium which is pre-punched with lots of holes in it. This is available from hardware stores and places like that. Okay, so just to go through that again, what we have at the base here, we have a piece of glass, then we have a piece of gel, then we have a piece of diffusion material, and then we've got a piece of holy aluminium. Okay, so the next thing that we probably need to do is just get a camera in and start setting up the shot. So I'll just grab a tripod. There we go. Let's pop this about here somewhere. that. Grab a camera. Now, as usual in these programs, I'm using a tethered full-frame digital SLR camera. I'll just pop that on the top of the tripod here. There we go. And this is running into Capture One, which I have on this PC. So if I just turn the camera on, there we go. The software has recognized it. So we can see all the settings here. We have the flash sync speed for this camera, 250th, ISO 100, f8. This may well change as the day goes on. We'll see how things go. As I usually do at this point, I will just take a blank frame just to see if we have anything coming in from the ambient lighting. And virtually nothing. So I think that's good to go. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is set up the flash. So to start with, what I'm going to do is just turn the modelling light on here, just so I can see what's going on. And yeah, I can see from that looks about right in terms of position. Perhaps it just needs adjusting a little bit. Just twist that round a bit, like that. There we go, that's better. Okay. Right. So I need to put a flash trigger on the top of the camera. So here we have a head flash trigger. Pop that on there. I'll just turn that on. And just make sure it's talking to the head. Yeah, that appears to be doing that. Right, so we'll just take a test shot. I don't bother with exposure meters, especially for this type of thing. It would be very difficult to use an exposure meter to find the exposure here. It'll be difficult enough doing it this way. But you'll see what I mean as I go along. So we'll just fire off an image. And we can see from that that's far, far too bright. All sorts of things are going wrong with that one. So let's just take the energy down by 5 stops. Yes. There we go. That's 5 stops less than it was. So we'll have another test. And that's getting better. Now obviously I've left the lens here in the 24mm end. This is a 24-70 zoom. So I'm just going to adjust that and just turn that round to the 70mm. Let's just have a little look through the camera and see if we can set that up. A bit of focus. And just point that a bit further down. There we go. Okay. Let's give that another go. Right. So that's not looking too bad. So from that image, you should be able to make out that we have more or less a hot spot in the middle, which is going off to the edges. So that's not bad for a starting position. Right. So now if I grab just a few pieces of lens which I happen to have lying around. Doesn't everybody have bits of lens lying around? I'll just pop these here to make an interesting sort of shape. Like that. Just set that up. See if we can focus it. Okay, I'll just take another image, and we're starting to get there. Now I think there's a few things wrong with this. I don't like the perspective. I think I need to just rotate some of these items a little, just to give a better picture. The other thing I'm going to do is just raise the camera up a little in height, just to give a different view. Let's have a little look. Probably somewhere around there. Something like that, I think. Okay, so we'll just capture another image. Right, well, we're starting to get there, I think. I think the objects need to move forwards slightly in the frame. And I think we need to do something about the depth of field as well. So a bit of iteration. Just move these a little bit further forwards, like that. Check that in the viewfinder. It's looking all right. Another test. Yeah, we're starting to get there now. In fact, I'm just going to take that back a bit. There is a mark on here, which is just a discrepancy in the way that the sheet was punched out. So I'm just going to move these a little to see if we can cover that mark with the image that we're capturing. Nearly. Just bring the whole thing forward a little. Just push that there. Bit of messing about, but worth it in the end. Okay. Yes, that's a lot better, I think. Right. I'm not quite happy with the way that is bending. So we'll just move that a bit. I think that's a better picture. There. Okay. Now, you should be able to see from this that we're actually getting quite a large amount of spill from the light which is under here. I don't know whether you can see on the modelling lights just how much light is coming out of this. And I think it may well be a good idea just to put a reflector on that, just so that it kills off some of the spill from the sides. So I will attempt to get that on there without taking all my set apart, which I should be able to do. There we go. Let's push this on. About there somewhere. Now that will have a couple of effects. The first of which will be to concentrate the light and also, in effect, increase the exposure. So we'll just do a test and see how much that has changed things. Right. Yes, I think you can tell from these two the difference. That one is way overcooked. And also, I think I can see that the focus needs to be adjusted a little. Yeah. So we'll just adjust the focus. I'll do that first. I'm just racking it backwards and forwards through the viewfinder. Somewhere around there. And then I'm going to make use of some of this extra energy in the flash by increasing the aperture to give me a bigger depth of field. So we were on 8. Let's go to 16 and see what happens. Yes, that's much better. I think that's considerably sharper. Now, with this software, you have a loop tool, which allows me to just go on to various parts of the image here and just check the focus. Okay. Not bad. But obviously now we need a little bit more power, I think, a bit more energy from the flash. So I'm just going to wind that up by half a stop, I think. So we'll take that up by half a stop, like so. And just reshoot that. There, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so now we have all the elements of the photograph nearly ready. We have the exposure set on the flash, we have the objects, the background, focus point is all set. I'd just like to check what my crop is going to be when I take it into to Photoshop. I could crop it in this software, but I usually export it. So we'll just have a little look. I'm going to set it to 16 by 9, and we'll say yes, we'll go with that. We'll just have a little look. Yeah, so that is actually looking quite good. Yeah, I think that should work fine. Right, now we have a bit of a highlight on here. I think that can be taken out in Photoshop. It's almost certainly from one of the studio lights that we have for the video. So you wouldn't normally have those. Just to check that, I will just turn out the video lights. So we're just left with the modeling light on. We'll take another image and just see how that goes. So there's all the studio lights out. Let's grab another image. There we are, yes. They were caused by the lights in here. So that is actually the one we want, so I'll just put a little mark on that. And now we'll just go to the export module within Capture One. I'm going to export as a 16-bit TIFF. And this is the one that I want, so I will just process that. There we go. And open up the image, and here it is in Photoshop. Okay. So we'll just have a little bit of a look around. And that seems perfectly fine. That's exactly what I wanted. Superb. Okay. So we just need to crop it. So I'm just going to use a 16 by 9 ratio. And just crop that in ever so slightly on the edges. Like so. I quite like the foreground actually. I think we'll just take a little bit of it out. Not a great deal, something like that. And click on OK. Fine. And there we have it. So I hope you enjoyed that little demonstration. And if you like this sort of messing about in a studio, please do just click on the other examples which are on the screen now. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one. Thank you very much.